Hello, my name is Cameron Mueller and I am an athletic field tech with the City of Lincoln, and today we're at Mahoney Park in the storage facility for our ball field supplies, and I'm going to walk you through kind of our expectations and where you can find anything you'll need on tournament weekends and how we expect you to leave them after you are done. So once you come into the building, off to your left, this is where you'll find pretty much all of the tools and equipment for chalking the fields. Basically, as it sits right now is how you want it to look. And a really good reminder is, luckily on the walls, we actually do have photos that do show how we expect the room to look whenever you guys are done with it. So with that expectation, whoever used it before you should have it also in this format. It just makes it easier for staff and anybody else that has access to get into this room, as long as we have everything put up on the walls and out of the way so we have a clear path. I'll go over a couple things that you're probably going to be using while you're using the fields. It's pretty self-explanatory, but on this cart we have two string lines that are very handy to use when you want to run your foul lines to keep them straight so you don't have to eyeball it. We have our 2-inch chalker here that you'd be using. And then of course we have our chalk supply. Just fill it up about 3/4 of the way full so it doesn't clog it up, and then it'll work perfectly fine. We have various rakes. These are the ones most of the time you guys will be using. It really helps around home plate or anything like that. And then of course, when you need to do your batter's boxes, we have 2 frames in here for you guys to use. In this room, I will show you where we keep our bases and the drag mats that you'll be using. Each field has its own set of bases, and they will all be on this rack in an orderly fashion. And then back behind the bases, you'll see we have a couple hand drags for you guys to use to drag in between games. A couple things to keep in mind when you're out at Mahoney. As far as lights are concerned, if you are going to need those, you will need to set that up with the rec office beforehand. That will be handled by them. They'll know when they need to turn them on and when they need to turn them off, because there is no on-site on-off switch for our field lights. And then as far as keys are concerned, you will receive keys for our storage room and our restrooms. Obviously, open up the restrooms when you need them. When you guys are done with your tournament, please lock them. They're not open for anything other than actual gameplay. And then when it comes to our storage facilities, same thing kind of goes with that, is we don't want the doors left open. So if you're not actively using our storage, please keep the outer door locked or at least closed. It keeps kids or any spectators from just wandering in at our areas and potentially things walking off, or maybe a kid even gets hurt in here. We want to avoid that. And then of course at the end of the night, make sure our restrooms are locked up and our exterior door is locked up, and then make sure the padlock is secure. Of course at the beginning also, when you open it up, please don't leave this dangling unlocked. When you have it on the back side of the door, just make sure it's latched, because they have a tendency to disappear sometimes and we would like to avoid that. So just make sure this is locked to the door at all times, whether it's open or closed. Something to keep in mind when you use any city facility is good housekeeping. We ask that you guys clean up after your teams to make sure your garbage is in the garbage cans. Please make sure that our dugouts are also picked up when you guys leave. It'd be nice if we don't have any water bottles or gloves left behind that somebody could potentially walk off with.